In this video, we will continue to learn about the basics of Excel. A worksheet has a default number of rows and columns, each in the default width and height for the workbook theme. There are over 1 million rows and more than 16,000 columns available for use. You can modify, insert, change, delete, and more. Using the default Office theme, the default width is 8.43 characters or 64 pixels. The column width can be adjusted from 0 to 255 characters. And the default row height is 15 points or 20 pixels. A pixel measures one screen dot. You can adjust one or more columns or rows at the same time. The Auto Fit feature resizes a column width or row height to fit the width or height of the longest or tallest entry. To auto fit a column, double-click the right border of the column heading. To auto fit a row, double-click the bottom border of the row heading. To auto fit multiple columns or rows, select the columns and rows and double-click any border within the selection. When a label is too long for the column width, it spills into an empty adjacent cell. If that adjacent cell is not empty, a long label may be cut off within the cell. You can widen the column or you can wrap the text. To wrap text, select the cell with the label, click on the Home tab, and click the Wrap Text button, which can be found in the Alignment group. The Merge and Center command combines two or more cells into one cell and centers the data within the combined cell. This command is a quick way to center a main label over multiple columns. To merge cells, use the Merge and Center button located on the Home tab in the Alignment group, or use the Center Across Selection command found in the Alignment group, Format Cells. This horizontally centers multiple rows across multiple columns. You can insert or delete rows or columns in a worksheet. Excel moves existing data to make room for new data or to fill the gap left by deleted data. To insert columns or rows, click on Insert found on the Home tab in the Cells group, or you can right-click and choose Insert from the quick menu. When you delete a column or row, data is deleted and the remaining columns and rows shift to the left or up. To delete columns or rows, choose Delete from the Home tab in the Cells group and then select Delete Sheet Rows or Delete Sheet Columns as applicable. If a worksheet has more data than necessary for your current task, you can hide the data to optimize the screen space. For example, in a checkbook register with data for several years, you might want to hide the rows from 2 years ago so that you only see the current year's data. Hidden rows and columns are still available and are included in calculations, and they can be shown whenever necessary. The Hide and Unhide commands apply to columns or rows. However, you cannot hide individual cells. Each worksheet in an Excel workbook has a Worksheet tab near the bottom left of the Excel window that displays the name of the sheet. A new workbook starts with one worksheet, but the number of sheets is limited only by the size of the memory on your computer. You can insert and delete sheets, rename them, and change their tab color. You can also hide, copy, and move worksheets. You can keep related sheets in a single workbook for ease in managing your files and tasks. For example, a monthly workbook could include revenues and expenses, payroll, and customer data sheets. To insert a new sheet, choose Insert from the Home tab Sales Group, or you can insert a new sheet by simply clicking the New Sheet button in the right of the tab names. You can also right-click an existing sheet tab and then choose Insert from the quick menu. To delete a worksheet, right-click on the Sheet tab and choose Delete, or click the bottom half of the Delete button, which is found in the Home tab in the Sales group, and then select Delete Sheet. New worksheets are named Sheet 1, Sheet 2, etc., but you can rename a worksheet to identify its contents and purpose. You can also apply a tab color to further distinguish a particular sheet. To rename a sheet, right-click on the Sheet tab and then select Rename from the quick menu, or use the Format button on the Home tab in the Sales group and choose Rename Sheet. You can also rearrange the tabs to display the worksheets in your preferred left to right order. You can also move worksheets to another workbook. You can copy a worksheet to make an exact duplicate of the data and the formatting. You can adjust how you see data in a worksheet to make your work as easy as possible. The different views available are Normal, Page Layout, Page Break Preview, or you can customize your view. The Normal view is the default, and it is used to create and modify a worksheet. The Page Layout format opens the header and footer areas, indicates margin areas, and shows a ruler. The Page Break Preview displays printed pages with dashed or dotted lines to mark where any new pages would start. The Custom View enables you to name and save display and print settings, such as any hidden columns or selected cells. The Zoom option allows you to change a sheet's magnification to see more of the data at once by zooming out, or to scrutinize content more carefully by zooming in. The Freeze Panes command locks rows or columns in view so that you can position data for easy review. In a worksheet with many rows and columns of information, it is not possible to see all the data at once. As you scroll to see information on the right, related labels and values on the left scroll out of sight. The Split command divides a worksheet into 2 or 4 display panes. Each pane shows the same sheet, but you can arrange each pane to show different or the same rows and columns. The splitter bar is a light gray bar that spans the window either horizontally, vertically, or both. A hidden worksheet is a worksheet whose tab is not displayed. It is still part of the workbook and can be referenced in any calculations. You cannot hide a worksheet if it is the only sheet in a workbook. When more than one workbook is open, you can use the Switch Windows command to change or cycle through any open workbooks. The New Window command opens a new separate window with the same workbook. Combined with the Arrange All command, you can position different parts of the workbook to make comparisons or monitor changes as you work. Before distributing your work to others, make sure that it is ready for sharing. You should check the spelling, insert any headers or footers, set the margins, change the orientation, and adjust page breaks as needed to finalize your document. Click the Control plus the Home button to make the first cell in your sheet the active cell. Next, click on the Spelling button found on the Review tab in the Proofing group to begin the spell check. The Spelling dialog box includes the options shown here for handling a found error. Ignore once will skip the occurrence of the label. Ignore all will skip all occurrences of the same spelling of the label. Add to dictionary adds the label to the default dictionary. Change changes the label to the highlighted entry in the suggestions box. Change all works the same way as the change feature, but this changes the same label throughout the entire worksheet. Delete appears for any repeated words. Click to delete one occurrence of the label. Autocorrect adds the label to the autocorrect list. Options opens the Excel Options dialog box to the Proofing tab for changing default settings. Undo last reverses the most recent correction, and Cancel discontinues the spell checking. A document property or metadata is a field of information. Metadata or settings and content including the author name, the date the file was created, the type and the size of the file, and more. Certain properties cannot be edited, such as the dates and the file size. These settings automatically update. But you can edit other document properties, such as the title, the author, and the subject. You can review all properties in the Properties dialog box. General, Statistics, and Contents list all uneditable metadata. Summary has properties such as the title, subject, and keywords. Keywords are used in file search commands. On the Custom tab, you can choose additional properties and types for default values. The Page Setup dialog box offers several command groups for controlling how a worksheet prints. Use Page tab to set the orientation to portrait or landscape. Use scaling to shrink or enlarge the printed worksheet to the paper size. Choose a paper size or set print quality, and define the first page number. Use margins to adjust top, bottom, left, and right worksheet margins. Set header and footer top-bottom margins, and center on page horizontally and/or vertically. Use header and footer to choose a preset header or footer layout, create a custom header or footer, specify first and other page headers, and set header and footers to scale with worksheets and to align with margins. Use Sheet tab to identify a print area other than the entire worksheet. Identify print titles to repeat on each page, and print grid lines, row and column headings, comments, and any error messages. When worksheet data spans more than one printed page, automatic page breaks are inserted based on the paper size, the margins, and the scaling. Automatic page breaks readjust as you add or delete data. You can also manually insert page breaks to control the amount of content on each page. Use the Page Break Preview button to view how a worksheet looks after you insert a page break. To remove a page break, select the row or column next to the break and click Breaks on the Page Layout tab, and then select Remove Page Break. You can print the entire workbook, the current worksheet, or a selected cell range by making a choice in the Settings area in the Backstage view for the Print command. The Scale to Fit command enlarges or shrinks printed data to fit a specific number of pages or a particular paper size. You can scale printed data as a percentage of normal size or by setting the number of pages. A print area is the data that prints when you give a print command. The default is the entire worksheet, but you can identify any range of cells as a print area. This brings us to the end of Chapter 1. Thank you for watching my videos.